Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for coming back. I hope everybody's safe and well. You're all very welcome. Tonight we're back with our old friends GSI yet again. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome them back. We have John, Ralph, Chelsea, and Rob. So thanks very much for coming back again, guys. How are you all?
Just fine and dandy.
All good. Same as everyone else.
Can I just say that's a lie from Rob and Chelsea, because them two are actually going stir crazy. Rob's actually spitting his dummy out most nights at the moment and stamping about because he's been on lockdown for a year, and Chelsea's trying to keep him sane while losing her sanity. So they've just lied to you straight away.
Pretty much the full nation then.
Thank you very much.
We're trying to be here. Come on.
Just tell him the truth, guys. It's easier.
So get my little notebook.
That's how this is going to go then.
Yeah, we're all right, mate.
Thank you very much for that, John. I'll keep that in mind. Just to say hello to Warwick, he's part of our team. And to Andy Murphy, hi, Gillian. I want to say, first off, congratulations to Andy and his good lady Custody became part of Para Unity today. So well done, the both of you.
Yep.
Really happy for you. So, Rob and Chelsea, we haven't met you before. So we'll start with Chelsea, because I think she'll tell the truth. Maybe you tell us a wee bit about yourself, Chelsea, if that's okay, though.
Yeah.
How are you getting it?
I'm not sure what to say, to be honest.
You're unprepared for this.
Yeah. Well, I'm the scaredy cat of the group. I think that's been established in a lot of our videos as well. Ghosts, the paranormal, it all terrifies me. Started coming along to the investigations to try and get over that a little bit, essentially. It's not working very well so far.
So you're still the scaredy cat then?
Pardon?
You're still the scaredy cat?
Yeah, for the most part. It's getting better, but
you're better than you used to be.
yeah.
What first got you into the paranormal?
Pardon?
What first got you into the paranormal?
Probably my mum, to be honest. Like, she's a bit like Vicky, like always had that kind of sense, and she's always felt things. So I've kind of been around it from a young age, even though it does scare me. And then I think a couple years ago, John and Ralph invited us on one of the investigations to Clifton Woods. And it's just kind of a growing interest since then, to be honest.
And that was you hooked?
Yeah, just about.
And how do you go on with Ralph? How are they to work with? It's secrets out time. How are they two to work with?
Pardon?
Yeah, it's always interesting to get Chelsea's take on everything. She's normally in the background, scared, huddled in someone else, not wanting to be left alone. You know, so it's just like it's that one where you just think, you know, if you're going to pick on one tonight, a spirit or a ghost, great evidence for the camera as well. You know, so it is very much like that.
So she's well looked after then?
Yeah. Always, yeah. We always look after our team members, don't we, John?
Always. Always.
And I never tell lies either.
They don't do anything they don't want to do. Yeah. We might ask them to do extraordinary things, but it's down to them whether they want to or not. If they say no, they say no. They're not coerced into it.
Well, I was kind of calling Chelsea in a tree in Sherwood.
Oh, what was that? The truth's coming out. Do carry on, Rob, please.
Sherwood Forest, we had a subscriber investigation. We was in John's little squad. And he made a couple of us sit in a tree whilst everyone else was asking questions. Mind you, it's cold, it's wet. And you walked out of the tree covered in a lot of stuff that you don't want on
Cobwebs, moths.
you. Yeah.
So
Bark, everything.
what is explaining there to you, Scott, is in Sherwood Forest you've got these old big oak trees, and when they're struck by lightning, they burn from the inside out, and it leaves them hollow. And we was getting a lot of activity, so I asked a couple of the people to go and sit inside the tree itself and see what activity we could get, and Rob was one of them.
Inside the tree.
Inside the tree,
Inside
yeah.
the tree. He was able to fit inside the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was completely hollow
That,
inside.
that, that would have been horrific. Disgusting.
Was it, Rob? Was it bad?
No, I just felt like a bit of an idiot sitting in a tree, to be fair.
It was
Hugging
good
the
telly,
tree.
mate. Let's
Was
just
you
put
hugging
that
it?
This is a
I've
good
been paid
thing.
enough for this.
This is a good thing for having different team members on and different lies, because you find out wee bits and pieces about the other guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you never knew before. You know, so now we know John is a bit of a slave driver. Ralph still seems okay, you know, so far. But I think John's a bit of a whip cracker, basically.
yeah, maybe a bit.
Yeah, you see, the Mr. Nice Guy image is kind of wearing off a wee bit there, isn't it?
Oh, I'm always Mr. Nice Guy unless I get attacked and then I get pissed off with him. But that's stopping now, Ralph.
I'm always best to be. Sam's in and she's another one of our team as well. And hey, Vale's came in and Wayne's as well. We've got a couple of questions for you.
Hi, guys. Yeah, go for it.
Where's
Part 2 should be downloaded. What are we on now? Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm on afternoons tomorrow. Fingers crossed, Gillian. It'll be up by Friday at 4 o'clock, part 2. Fingers crossed. If not Friday, then Saturday. I'm just got silly shifts this week. I'm all over the place. But I'm sure I'll get time to chop up the remaining and put it up by Friday, Saturday latest.
excellent? So Chelsea, your guinea pig and your candidate for loan investing. Is you the guinea pig, right? See, something I can't understand because it's written in English. It's not written.
Right, Scott.
So it takes me a wee minute.
Is your guinea pig?
Takes me a wee minute to translate up here, you know. So Chelsea, you're the guinea pig for loan investigations then?
No, I have been offered them many, many, many times.
Have you ever been forced? Do we make you do
No.
things against your will?
No,
No,
no.
the whole team knows. I want to put her in harm's way for sure, but
I was going to
if
say,
she doesn't want to do it, that's up to
I
her.
won't force you.
No, but I won't force her to do it.
You're not supposed to say that live on a camera. You know what they put.
Yeah, but she knows that anyway.
You know, that's a kind of unsaid agreement. You know, you don't say it live on a camera. I want to see him.
That's fine.
That'll make
We
you-
harbour no secrets, mate. No secrets.
Evidently not, no.
Just wait till we meet up at Pendle Hill, what I've got in store for you lot.
Oh.
I love that.
As long as it's him getting locked in places, that's fine. Me, no. But Scott, you lock him anywhere you like.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
I did a lot. Oh, sorry.
how did you first get into the paranormal? What first got you interested?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of a few years ago. It was like just watching the Yvette Fielding on Most Haunted and stuff like that. Just kind of seeing them go around the country, castles, that kind of stuff. Like castles is mainly what I'm interested in, and then you learn about the stories and stuff like that from there. And then Most Haunted came along, started watching that. And then John was like, "Oh, we're going to do this YouTube channel." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll jump along when I can." But with work, I worked like a lot of weekend nights. So it was a real struggle to get along to most of the investigations that they done. Now we're in lockdown. We're trying to get out a little bit more just as our bubble, but can only go so far.
I kind of really restricted. Gillian's saying, so you left it on a cliffhanger. So we talked about the first video, Friday's video, so you left it on a cliffhanger then?
No,
Of course, it's good TV, isn't it?
I suppose you did. Martin, I just can't read tonight. I don't. It's so long. You left it. Right. You can read the comments. I'll just sit here and watch. Just let me know.
Yes, I left it on a cliffhanger. I mean, you've sort of got to, haven't you? You know, it's the old Saturday TV format where, like on the Rocketeer or whatever, where he'd die or get blown up, and then on the next week's episode, you saw him actually jump out of the moving car just before it exploded. So yeah, you got to leave it on a cliffhanger, ain't you? It makes people interested, I suppose.
But then even saying that, John, it's like you don't want it to be 2 hours long, and then they'll lose interest halfway through. If you cut it to 45 minutes, and then do a part 2, you're more interested in it. Your attention span's still there.
I agree, but only if the remaining footage that you've got, if it's 45 minutes of footage and you've only got 5 minutes worthwhile, then you may as well pin that 5 minutes onto the 45 and make a 50-minute one video. So you've got to make sure the rest of the content you've got is relevant. Otherwise, you're going to have a crap video.
True.
And I think it's not the little girl, it's the man. Which bit is Gillian referring to?
No idea. I'm sure she will put it in the chat.
Vale's saying everyone has to have one for the police who don't want to adventure. I think Vale's talking about, Icy Chelsea. Everybody's got to have one that they want to stick in somewhere that nobody else wants to go, basically.
That's where you come in, because you get stuck in all the places.
No, but I mean, to be fair to Chelsea, I mean, like I say, she has got a lot better than she used to be, and I think it was only the second investigation we went to, which was Gracestew Priory. And you got really upset on that one, Chelsea, didn't you? There was a lot of stuff coming through the spirit box, freaked her out. The one place she didn't want to go was in the woods because the spirit box basically said there's murderers in the woods. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you have to go in the woods. Even though she didn't want to do it, she was freaking out, she was crying, she still plucked up enough courage to go in. And
well done, you.
Can't do anything but commend her for that, She's come a long way.
You say I plucked up the courage. It was kind of go through the woods full of murderers with a group.
All right, we dragged you in. Let's be honest about it.
And I prefer my chance in numbers, to be honest.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gone in on your own, but you was determined to not go through it at all. And it was the way back to the car, so you wanted to walk the roadway round with the street lights. And you still went in. So, you can only commend you for that. You was in pieces for a while.
I tried.
You did really well, and you've come a long way since. I don't think we've seen any tears on at least the last 3 or 4 locations you've been.
I reckon having Vicky there as well has boosted your confidence a lot. Having someone that practices in that medium kind of sense to kind of protect and have that protective bubble there for someone like yourself.
Yeah, I think Vicky has definitely helped because, especially she knows that even though I'm trying to get over my fear and that scaredness, she still takes the extra time. She'll give me an extra sigil, or she'll do some of her protective stuff, and she'll give me a little bit extra to make me feel that little bit more comfortable with things as well. Oh. And that does really help.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think the longer you're in, a team and you go investigating, your courage and your confidence does tend to build up through time. Little by little, the more investigation. Yeah. And depending on, if you've got a team full of kind of idiots, then your confidence around is going to build up. But you've got Vicky, you've got John, Ralph, and so they're kind of well experienced, seasoned paranormal investigators. I think that's the word I'm looking for, is it not?
Yeah.
So you've got all that kind of experience behind you, both of you as well. And I think that helped quite a bit as well.
I think she also knows now, she's been out with a few times with us, Scott, that she can completely trust us. Yes, even if we get stuff come through where there's mass murderers somewhere, ghosts and whatever, I'll say, Chelsea, do you want to go there on your own? She'll say no. So, right, fair enough, that's it. There's no debate. There's no coercion to try and get her to do it. If she says, no, I don't want to do it, she don't do it. It's as simple as that. And she trusts that, Me and Ralph will put our hands up and go and do it. But if Chelsea says, no, I'm not, it's too much for me. End of. That's it. She don't get barracked into doing anything she don't want to do. And I think there's a lot of trust there. At least I hope there is anyway.
There is, yeah. It was like the investigation we did the other week when we went back up to Clifton Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Like John said in that video, the first time I went there, I said I'd never go back. But after being stuck in the house since November, going a bit stir crazy, John's like, going up to Clifton Woods, do you want to come? And it's like, yes. And he's like, are you sure it's Clifton Woods? Yeah. Are you sure?
It's like freedom, let me, I want out, I'm going, I'm off, but no, he's as you say, John, she's got the confidence and use her all to us. I mean, I spoke to you, we've had you on a few times, and also we're speaking meals and what have you, and then we're meeting up, at Pendo, and you can see we're watching your videos as well. These are a responsible team.
You have to be, mate. You've got to. Your team's only as strong as your weakest link, so that's the one you've got to look after. If they go to pieces, then I mean, morally, you've got a responsibility to look after them just as a person. But you don't want the team crumbling or the investigation going tits up just because of that either. So yeah, you've got to be responsible and look after that person more than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the more you do it, the thicker skin you'll get, and you'll start to get to the point where you're wanting to do these things yourself without anybody maybe kind of asking you as well, Chelsea. That's what probably happen.
Like going out on them is like, even just outside of going on the investigations, it is really building the confidence, and everyone on the team is always really supportive. Like back at Grace de Prairie, when I started getting upset, they turned the cameras off. We had like a 5-10 minute break before we went on again, and everyone was really supportive. And that helps as well, knowing that when things do get overwhelming, you've not got to try and hide it. You can be like, right, guys, I just need a 5-minute break. Then we can continue.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Say hi to Go Switches, to Carol who's come in, and Misty Mountain. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're all safe and well. You're all welcome. But the other thing I like about your team is you're serious, but you're laid back. If that makes sense. It's kind of, you can sit and watch you watch some teams and they're very strict and very matter of fact when they're speaking, what have you. But we watch you guys together. You're still professional. You're there investigating, but there's a slight air of relaxation in the place. If that makes sense.
We're basically just being ourselves, I think, Scott, is the right way to say that there. We're not trying to be something that we're not. We know each other well. We can bounce off each other. We know everyone's flaws and weaknesses and strengths. And we do have a good giggle together. We've got a really strong social group with all of us, not just from a paranormal side, but from a friends and family side as well. So everyone gets on really well. Everyone looks after each other. And I think that shows. I think that stands out in the videos.
Mm-hmm.
It does. See, I've watched quite a few of your videos, and you do see us. She's one of your team members. We're respecting everybody in the team, and this feeling is paramount. As is what makes the team work, basically.
Yeah.
Ghost Witchy says giggles are the best. I think the giggles, that kind of takes, if you've got somebody who is just new to the team or new to the paranormal, if you can have a wee bit of a laugh, a wee bit of relaxation, I think that helps them a wee bit as well. I watched your video today on, was it a school or something you were in?
No, it was a leisure centre.
Was it a leisure centre? I found a couple of wee bits into it. Well, I found the whole thing into it, but a couple of bits that stuck out in my mind was at one point somebody asked, "Are you frightened?" And the word "terrifying" came straight back.
Yeah, through the spirit talker. That was interesting. That was.
What did you think of that?
Well, I got hopeful. I thought, oh, good, we might actually get some proper activity soon. But I mean, it was a really strange night. It was. I don't really know the best way to describe it. It wasn't inactive, but it wasn't overly active either. You got the impression that something was sitting back on the periphery, just watching. Every now and again, just coming forward and dipping the toe in the water, I think. What do you think, Ralph?
Yeah, it seemed to be a teaser night. It was one of those where it gave you a little bit. So, return visits definitely on the cards. But, there's all like testing the water with us and stuff like that, really. So, there's some interesting bits on that. I've still got some EVP stuff to go through as well, so I'm picking bits through that as well.
You also got, what I found was extraordinary was that you got the word Tom through as well.
Yeah.
With Tom Blow, the singer. Swimmer.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite, quite an amazing word to come through, especially since that place is associated with Tom Blow. What did you think of that?
I didn't catch most of it on the night, which is what happens most of the time. It's only during the edit. I think we got Tom about 5 or 6 times come through the spirit box, didn't we? Just repeating Tom all the time. And looking back on it, it's crazy, that is. It really is.
Also, 31 minutes in, there was what you just described as a ghost kind of voice. I don't know if you picked it up or not. I think it was you, Ralph, who made the mention it.
Say that again, Scott, sorry.
31 minutes into the video, you were standing in a big hall, and I think it was you, Ralph, that you heard a sound or a noise down the bottom end of the hall. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I can't remember, to be honest with you. There was, I mean, in the hall itself, there was quite a few different noises, and it was just trying to get used to separating the building noises because it's like a metal canopy. So with the heat and that, from the noises where we was picking up where we didn't think there was, and it was just trying to piece that together and be realistic about the noises and that. So so it was one of those. It was like I said, there's lots of snippets of sounds going on that we couldn't 100% turn around and say they were paranormal, but we couldn't 100% turn around and say they were natural. So there's just sort of sat there in the middle, really. So same again. It's looking when we go back, looking at like the weather and that and how it affects the building and everything. But they were, bizarrely enough, it's not the usual place where we got a lot of people coming back saying that there was issues in that whole area. Yet myself and John, we seem to be attracted to that particular area on that night.
Because you did get quite a few words. You got like Vincent, you got encountered, the word dead, turn around, and then there was the word preparing as well, if something was coming. So you did
something that we did find something that we did find really interesting when Vincent came through. I don't know if it was that day or the day before. Ralph had done the same spirit talker at another one of our leisure centres, and the name Vincent came through there also. So when it came through at John Carroll, that piqued my interest a little bit more because it now got that same name at 2 different locations. So,
well, I'll be interested to see the second part of it, just because I've written the words and that down. That I write everything down actually. I've written the words, and I can't wait to watch it and see if any of these words reappear again, especially the name Tom maybe as well. I think that would be quite interesting to see if any of them pop out again.
Yeah, well, I've not started editing yet, mate, so I can't say for sure whether they do or don't at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to get on to editing it. It won't be tomorrow. I'll start it on Tuesday. And fingers crossed, we'll have a finished product by Friday.
Well, hopefully, because I'll be sitting in front of the PC with YouTube on Friday waiting to pop up. And if it's not there, then words are going to be exchanged.
Oh, no pressure now then.
We shall have a little convo. You know what I mean? A couple of questions, please. Whoever wants to answer them, feel free, fire in.
Okay.
Do you find
Can each member of your team naturally feel a specific role, or do you work freely and see what happens? A bit of both. Myself and Ralph fulfill sort of like the lead investigator. Ralph's more the researcher. I'm more the editor. Vicky just does everything. She's an all-rounder in every sense of the word. Yeah, she's just great. And then you've got James and Rob especially as investigators. Other James, he does the cameraman role. And Chelsea, she is an investigator, but she also does a little bit of research for us on the side as well. So I don't think them roles have actually been picked. They just seems to what everyone seems to have fitted into. So
It's just what we're comfortable doing, really, isn't it?
yeah, so it is. Yeah, so it's a little bit of both, really. People have fitted into them, but off their own backs, I suppose, really.
Ghost Hunters got one for you. I watched a few budget Ghost Hunters on Prime, and boy, some are just so dull to watch without group chemistry.
I think that was a statement, not a question.
Right, well, no, but she is true in what she's saying. You need that wee bit of chemistry just to, to make it a wee bit more interesting.
Now she has a question.
Now she says, do you want to do the live?
No.
You sure?
You're all right.
Hold the pen.
Nah, I've got one.
Domestic on live, honestly.
I thought it would have been us, to be honest.
Is there anything you think you might or have witnessed or experienced that you would make you
That would make you
need
have
that?
a
I
bad
can't read it.
Scott.
You move over. Let me do the
That's
talk.
it. Sarah, you do it.
Can we start in the top right corner? So Rob and
that's
Chelsea,
all.
if you want to go first.
First time at Clifton Woods, I could swear I saw a 6'4" something dark figure standing in front of me in the tree line. It was on a 5-minute break, and I just went for a wander. I came back, got the guys, and then went back to the same spot, and the figure wasn't there. And then John was asking me to explain what I saw, and he was then saying how there is a large male, like a black figure male in that area that has been reportedly seen before. So that kind of got a bit spooky for me. Another thing is watching the Instagram live when John went to Codner Castle, and I made him turn off all the lights in the middle of the ring.
That for me, that was probably the nearest thing that I've had to a brown trousers, to a code brown. But it wasn't turning the lights off because I tend to think of myself as pretty fearless anyway. But it's after a few seconds of having the lights off, knowing I'm basically inside what it's like a milk churn, and you're stood inside it, and something growled at me with like 2 feet away from me, really guttural, demonic, and I thought, there's nowhere I can go. I know there's nothing in here with me because I had my torch on like a few seconds ago, and something's just growled at me. And the people on Instagram Live actually heard the growl as well. So I knew it wasn't something in my own imagination, which made me feel a lot worse. So I think that's the nearest I've come to a code brown.
Also, on that same night, though, you did get pulled off the ladder as well.
I can't remember that, mate, did I?
I thought
Did
that
I
was
not
a
fall
different
off?
one.
No, that was the same night, wasn't it? You
I can't remember, mate.
In the barn, you went up the ladder into the loft bit, and then on the way down, Instagram the stream froze. All we heard was "oh shit," and then just it went black, and then nothing else. You came back on and said you felt like you was being pulled off the ladder, coming down.
I don't know. I think I had the sort of like the feeling that there was something underneath me, so I launched myself off the ladder.
Yeah.
So you got the impression that there was something waiting underneath the ladder, but that would, because it's dark and scary, and it's probably just my mind playing tricks, mate. But I just wanted to get off the ladder as quick as I could. Yeah. So halfway down, I chucked myself off it. That was what the oh shit was.
Yeah.
As long as it was that bullshit and another kind of, you know.
What about you, Ralph?
I think probably the one that stands out in my mind was when we was at Witch's Wood and we felt like we were surrounded. We was backed up like OK Corral.
Yeah, that
And
was close.
It was literally, normally it's sort of like if we can pinpoint a direction, we know then you get that element where some of you want to turn around and back up a little bit. And it's like where myself and John will turn around and we'll go, no, that's not an option. It's going towards it. We're here to investigate. Let's find out about it. And we're going forward. It doesn't matter how brown our trousers are going to get. We tend to go forward. But this particular time, it was like we was in the ward in the middle of nowhere, and we just felt like we were surrounded. We just knew no matter which direction we was going to go, potentially something was there. And there's just that sense of like loss of what the hell, where's our escape route, really? It didn't exist at that point. So
there was noise from every direction, mate. One thing we was like, we was literally back to back. Like you see people just before they're about to have a duel. We was back to back and turning round because we was like, what the hell do we do now? We're surrounded. We could hear noises everywhere. It was ridiculous. It was crazy.
We kind of had that. It wasn't noises we had, but we felt kind of surrounded when we went to Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh. That one night, as soon as you walked to the cemetery, the church sits on the main road on the Royal Mile. The graveyard is behind it. But as soon as you walked in the gate, there was just this. It was really. I don't get spooked out. I don't get freaked out. Sarah gets freaked out constantly.
I do.
Basically. But just this particular night, it doesn't matter where you went or which way you turned, it was just this atmosphere that you weren't wanted.
Is that not the night I seen a shadow and left?
You seen a shadow? Because I ended up still going for a walkabout.
Yeah, you did.
But it was just this overwhelming atmosphere, like, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
Basically, and Sarah ended up going outside. But I went for a walkabout running through the graveyard because I'm just thick that way, basically, If you're not wanted, you still go.
Dedicated, Scott, not thick, dedicated.
Dedicated.
I think that was serious though, going outside the gate because of that stupid statue that's there.
I'm the one that braved the darkness with no lampposts.
Well, I thought
They're off again. They're off.
I'm there myself.
Oh, do you want a chocolate watch?
With my wee phone. Oh. But that's part of the thrill, I think, of investigating. First time we went to Canongate, I'd never been in my life. I've been to Greyfriars hundreds of times. We went to Canongate, and when you go down the back, you think it's ended. Was that the night you get alopecia? You know what? Kick for it. You won't be seeing Ghostbusters again. She's might be on next month with Ghostbusters for Australia. That won't be happening. But like I say, I've been down the back of Canongate, and it's a kind of graveyard you think you've got to the end of it, but then you find another wee bit, and there's a path goes right along the bottom of it. It's very, very closed in. There's vaults on either side, and that was kind of eerie, but you still go and do it. You're there yourself, in the middle of the night, and any kind of sane person would think no chance.
Mm.
But you still go ahead and do it. Which is nobody's getting in my down under. No, ghost witches. Have you ghost bitches coming back in next month with yourself? I don't know what she means by. I don't even want to know what she means by that. Actually, you know what I mean. So, Ralph, I know you're the kind of Ouija board expert. Also, you've been spending a lot of time in the house. Have you been doing any more with your Ouija board?
No, I mean, regarding the Ouija boards, I won't touch them in houses where people are, so in dwellings and that. I won't touch them with that just because Ouija boards, although you can close them down properly, there's always that element that they may not be 100% closed. Mm-hmm. So you just don't run the risk, especially with me having kids in the house as well. Mm-hmm. So I do follow the rules very strictly just for the safety of everyone, really. But yeah, so unfortunately, the Ouija boards are just collecting a bit of dust. However, we did use them at the John Carroll at the recent investigation. So yeah, they will be back out. It is part of our tools and our way forward. But yeah,
'Cause
yeah, not much else to report.
I know I did agree to
You did.
I did, didn't I? I suggested
On
it.
the last live,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Ron, you agreed to sit down with Ralph and let Ralph show you all about the Ouija board whilst I run away. Have a coffee.
Yep. Yep. You are doing. You will be doing a Ouija board with the team. 100%.
Even though we deleted that live, but you know, I'll still.
It's all right. John will hold your hand. It's fine.
That's right. Hey, Alan, thanks for coming in, buddy. I'm not going to go ahead and do it. You know, willingly,
You'll
no
be
doubt
fine, but honestly.
involved. I'd like to do one when we go to Pendle. You know, obviously, I'm not a big say hi, Three Souls Paranormal. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Also, I'm not a big expert on the Ouija board. I've never had a used one. I kind of stayed away from them. But I'd like to do one when we get to Pendle, just to see what what happens.
100%. Yeah. Well, we're definitely taking one with us. So yeah.
Yeah.
Gillian's saying, I still say that the little girl isn't there.
Oh, there's not a little girl there. So what she's saying is there's not a little girl in the premises, but it's a bloke. Which is, it's possible. The only reason I think there's a little girl there is when I was doing some work there, I think it was on the day we did the investigation, Ralph, I heard a whistle from one of the rooms, and it was the whistle of a teenage girl, 13 years old, 13, 14, around that age. And the person I was with heard it as well. And it was definitely female. That's why I think there is potential like a little girl there. But I'm no expert on the feelings and that mediums get and stuff like that. It's just what I heard that I'm going off, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's definitely a male presence there because it told Ralph to piss off on the dictaphone, didn't it, Ralph?
Yeah.
Nice, that's polite.
That was lovely.
That's
Yeah,
polite,
it is. And again, as well, it's something that happened in between the investigations where when I was at work and I went downstairs into the plant area, something had moved the table by about half a foot in a direction that it wouldn't be moved. And it was my colleague that was on the night before who doesn't move the table and he hasn't done for the last 8 years of him being there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a bit mystified by that. And it's not a light table either. So, yeah.
No, it's not.
Again, like you say, it's not a little girl that would have done that. So we could have an array of spirits in there that we're not 100% sure about. We'll get to the bottom of it.
I'm sure.
Yep.
Robbie Crossan saying, I designed my own Ouija board out of a 200-year-old piece of yolk.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yolk.
Right.
Oak.
Could be a big egg.
I mean, that's nice. I mean, obviously for us, it's sort of like I wouldn't want to be carrying up that piece of oak up Pendle Hill. So, yeah, it's...
Carol's in.
it's great, again, use them as ornaments. But we'll keep them light and simple, travel friendly, because we have to carry everything.
Yeah.
I mean, when we do Pendle, we really looking forward to Pendle. That's the first stop after, stuff's over or whatever, over me. But, as soon as it's possible, put it that way.
Yeah.
For us
We can't wait, bud. We really can't.
Oh, Neil,
Exciting.
we're doing a forgotten Pendle next month, a full week, a Pendle Hill. But we're not concentrating on the better known places, like Sadler's Farm, Newchurch. We're concentrating on, the lesser known places people forget about, they don't bother with, but are still as much history. And we've also been looking into the location of Malcolm Tower at me.
Yep.
Which I'll let you explain because you've been doing other bits with the maps and stuff.
What is this to explain?
Right, put on a spot, no pressure.
Do you want me to explain?
I'll tell them then, shall I?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm going to get to adverts while she get that over with. We don't mind.
Just take your time, Scott. Just take your time.
Let me interrupt. I mean, everybody thinks that Malcolm Tower is over near Sadler's Farm. We don't think so. We think it's over the other side, near Cone.
Cone.
So you want to be a correct my speech? We think it's over there, basically based on the fact of how far Alice would have wandered for her home, before she met the peddler. And it's always been said he was taken to a pub in Cone. So that's why we think that Malcolm Tower is over the other side and nowhere everybody else. We might be wrong. We're enjoying researching it, and we've got some maps for one of our friends that lives down there as well. Yeah. And we'll be going over maps and what have you. So we are enjoying doing the research on it because it is quite, fascinating. As I say, I don't know. We'll probably never ever find it. I know a lot of people have been hunting for it through the years, but it's just a wee theory that we've got. Gillian says there's nothing up Pendle Hill. The Gillian's right, there is the hill itself isn't active. As I said before, it's the area around it. He says, I live near Pendle Hill and very protective of the hill. Well, she lives it's understandable. There's Carol making a comment. I think there are thousands of untapped places that could be investigated anywhere, both as search for the possibility of being haunted.
Yep.
Would you agree with that, guys and girls?
I suppose, to a degree. I mean, people have died all over the planet, but I don't think every square foot of it's haunted. So there's obviously something which I don't understand myself as to why a place becomes haunted. Otherwise, everywhere would be haunted because everyone's, over the course of years, has died everywhere, surely. There's got to be something which makes that particular place specific for a haunting. It's just, I don't know what. Maybe that's a question that we can all find out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. So that's the other reason we're doing this. Was that an echo there? That's the reason we want to do the Forgotten Pendle, because there is that many different areas down there that have never been investigated. People tend to flock to the same bits. But getting back to the Ouija board there, Ralph, where would you say the best place in that kind of area would be to use a Ouija board?
I think wherever you could get a sense of higher energy, really, you got more chance of something coming through. So we're just looking for those places. Same again, though. There's no guarantees that it's going to work. You get to some places I've done in the past where you've done a Ouija board with the same people, the same area and everything, but on a different night. And each night's different. 1 minute I can be there, 20 minutes. And the only reason there's been any movement is because your muscles are getting tight. So you're moving the planchette or the glass slightly. Mm-hmm. So there's no guarantee. It's just like if you was to pick the phone up to phone someone up, one time out of those few times you're going to try them, no one's there, no one's answering. So it's the same sort of theory with the Ouija board as well. Just because you're picking the phone up doesn't mean that you're going to be getting someone to answer. Mm-hmm. But
So it's just basically a lot. So investigating. What about you, Chelsea and Rob? What's your views on the Ouija board and using it?
Personally, I won't touch them.
When
both not a fan of them. At the Sherwood investigation, they whipped one out. No, for me.
No, we went and watched from a safe away distance.
But I said that for years. For years, I never ever get near them, entertain them. But I don't know, Ralph and Joy managed to twist. But I wasn't drinking that night. Was I children drinking?
You wasn't looking to drink to it.
Yes,
So
this is trusting faiths.
That is, both of you, you know, I mean, if I met you in the street, I would trust you to hold my wallet while I went. And I would trust you would still be standing there when I returned for it.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean,
with the Ouija board, I'll be in the car with a coffee.
yeah, but we never, when we do the boards, you know, whoever's there, we invite them. If they don't want to do it, then they don't want to do it. You know, we appreciate it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, you know, so, and the thing is, you know, the minute you start getting people on there that don't want to do things and you've got a natural fear to it, then that's where things are going to get more complicated as well. So if they haven't got trust in themselves, you know, because they don't understand it or because they, you know, they've seen too many films and all the bad things about it, then obviously that's it. But,
So that's one of the reasons why I'm always so hesitant around them, because I know that things like the paranormal scare me and things like that. I wouldn't trust that energy to like bring something worse through, or for something to like play on that fear, which if it causes any complications is one, bad in general, two, it's not fair on everyone else participating, that my fear and anxiety around the subject may fluff it up for everyone else.
I think a lot of what the issue around Ouija boards is I don't think there's ever been a positive use of a Ouija board in Hollywood. It's all negative, demonized and stuff. So it gives everyone this bad, I mean, not just bad, but really, really bad impression of what's going to happen if you use a Ouija board. But before we kick off with anybody, and it'll be the same when you take part, Scott, Ralph has very strict guidelines that he will go through before we start. So it's not a case of you're going to put your finger on the planchette and we're just going to see what's going to happen. You'll get instructions for what may happen, what to do, what Ralph's going to do, and how he's basically going to control it. So you're in no illusion of how it's actually going to go. So your eyes are fully open going into it, not closed. So nothing will be a surprise. And I think that's half the problem. Because it's already demonized, people automatically think, if I put my finger on that planchette, I'm going to get possessed and go and kill 15 people. And that's just not the way it is. I mean, you know, I think a little bit of education and research is a good thing. But I agree with Chelsea. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. Don't try it.
So, like, if I was going to trust anyone to have a Ouija board around me, it would be you guys. But it's that, like what we were saying before, like you told me during the Grace to Priory when I started getting a bit upset, that when you get the more mischievous spirits around and they see that fear and stuff, they like to play on it. They like to tease you. They like to push you.
Yes, they do.
Take advantage of it.
And it's like, I don't want to put myself in that situation.
And that's probably the sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
For me, it's not the Hollywood demonization. It's me knowing that I wouldn't have the right headspace or energy to bring to a Ouija board. But like you say, for a lot of people, it is going to be the demonization that as soon as you touch one or as soon as you're in the presence of one,
exactly.
you're possessed. You're going to be haunted for the rest of your life and all your loved ones are going to die.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's got a lot of stigma surrounding it because of Hollywood. And it's not... yes, if they're used incorrectly and abused to a degree, they're extremely dangerous. But if they're used, I think, I can't remember who just put the comment up, if you treat your Ouija board, yeah, exactly, same as any other piece of equipment. So you treat it with respect, know what it can and can't do, and follow the rules. Nothing, well, I won't say nothing can go wrong, but as long as you recognise the signs, like, and you've got somebody like Ralph who will jump on it as soon as he recognises it before anybody else, then try it. Give it a go. You've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
That's Laura. She's one of her teammates, and her husband Craig's in the chat as well. He says that he's not sure I was. I wasn't drinking, Craig, because I'm teetotal, man. That's Laura's husband, you know. We just want to say to Justin and Beat Dr. Jizzy Jabba, welcome along. But all, well, I said it right, Jizzy Jabba.
I never said anything. It was Shelley that laughed at me.
Sorry.
I can't believe
I'm not laughing at the name, I'm laughing at the Scott saying it. Just to be clear.
But I think Hollywood does have a lot to answer for. With the Ouija board, I mean, I've watched a lot of movies with the Ouija board, you know, in 10 minutes in, somebody's losing a head or another limb or something like that all through it. Hollywood using for entertainment to scare the audience, they never show the real use of them.
Yeah, because sometimes the real use of them can actually be quite boring. Like Ralph says, it's like picking up the phone. If no one's home, the audience doesn't want to see that. They want to see someone decapitated or possessed and go on a killing spree. But that's not how it actually works. That's an entertainment purpose only. But people, because there's never been anything positive ever used in Hollywood regards to a Ouija board, it's all demonization. So the only thing they can attach it to is negativity.
So I've watched quite a few films. I remember one film, it was a Ouija board, 10 minutes in, this woman hangs herself and stuff like that. You think, you know, well, that's fair enough, you know. And
Yeah, I think I know which one. I watched that one recently.
she had a short part, you know, she's not in the sequel anyway. No chance of that happening. And it's just a bit of basically dies in it. You know, I'm surprised he didn't catch it at the end. So, don't get me wrong. I like a good Dutch film, you know, where people lose certain parts of the anatomy and stuff. You can't beat a wee head coming off here and there, but, you know, you want something, you know. How bizarre of my wife being sat in a Ouija workshop first time ever, and the conversation here has turned to blame Andy, blame Ralph. He's a Ouija man.
Sorry, was I leading the questions? I forgot.
Oh, it's Liam.
Yeah.
Right,
I
just.
told you that.
Hey, Liam, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Just going back to that other question about them not closing that board down properly when they had a bad experience. Yeah, that is a key thing. Make sure it closes down. If anything, if the spirit won't allow you to close it down, you force it close down. Make sure it's closed down. If you're not 100% sure, store the board away from your planchette. So,
I've seen one film and they picked up what's called. It'll come back to me. And the woman picks up the planchette and there's a bit of glass in the middle and she looks through it and they say if you look through that, you can see if there's a spirit kicking about, basically. Is that
just called Ouija?
Is it called
Well,
Ouija?
no, I mean if you look at most of the, it's all done through the ethos of like if you look through glass and mirror, you're seeing something else. So it's showing it's like scouring. You're seeing something else. If you look at the original planchettes and that, they're all based just round that particular like almost lazy heart shaped style with a hole in it to go over the letter. That's literally what it is, And if you pick that up, you just be like looking through a keyhole, really. So no, again, it's just a design. I mean, obviously these things have been around. I mean, it's like if you think they've been around from the late 1800s when they were popularized, it's sort of like they didn't have plastic then; it was all wood. So no, again, it's another Hollywood go at scaring the living daylights out of someone. And and I think there's been a few of those Ouija films anyway, which I think was the name of the film off. That was off. But yeah, so
Who's disappeared?
Shelley.
Is she off? She away?
She'll probably be back.
Probably. But no, I think Hollywood to answer for. Not just with Ouija boards, but the whole paranormal scene, in particular. So what's next on the cards for you guys, apart from Pendle, obviously?
What's next on the cards? Well, what can we get away with at the moment, I think? And I mean that without breaking any of the lockdown rules. It won't be a lot. Once lockdown's lifted, Christ almighty, we've got a myriad of places to go, just reams of it. Pendle being one of the first ones,
every other
obviously.
day there's a new suggestion in our group chat, isn't there?
Yeah. We've got so many places to go to, but we don't want to break the rules. You know, we tell everybody during the videos, make sure you're looking after each other, stay safe, stick to the rules. We have to do the same. You know, the only reason myself and Ralph were able to get to that leisure centre is myself, Ralph and Cheryl all work together. We have a work bubble. Myself, Rob and Chelsea, we live in the same house. So we went out for our daily exercise that night, took the cameras and the equipment with us. You know, we're sticking to the rules as much as we can. Well, in fact, we're sticking to them, you know, strictly. But we're able to try and do a little bit of investigating within the guidelines, if you like.
It is really hard. We've got, you know, obviously, we get Pendle coming up, that's first on the agenda. And we've got local investigations planned up here, and it's just frustrating. And I think once the ease restrictions are lifted, whatever it is that happens, the whole place is just going to go nuts in a good way. You know, everybody's just going bang. You know, like kids and like the big kid that found the Mars bar, you'll be off. You know, away. So are you all meeting us in Pendle, the whole team? Because I think
as far as I know, yeah, I think so. I think I don't mean this in any disrespectful way to yourself and Chelsea, Rob, at all. But you two are more of, due to your work shift, you're more of the part-time team members, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can't make you full-time. So I don't mean any disrespect or degrading you in any way for that. But I think you two are actually quite keen to come on that one as well, aren't you?
Oh, 100%.
Pendle Hill is somewhere I've wanted to go since I was about 10 years old, just because of all of the history behind it, and obviously the witches, and just everything. And I
don't think on any investigation we've ever had a complete team. I don't think we have yet, and I think that will probably be the first.
Mechanic Chase, I think we did, didn't we?
We didn't have
no,
Vicky.
There's no Vicky or James. No, Vicky was there. James wasn't. Sorry,
No,
Vicky was there.
Chained Oak, James was there. Vicky wasn't.
No,
because
Cannock
Chase.
Yeah.
There's always been one where somebody's been missing through work commitments or something. We've never had a full team.
It's also been like space in the car as well.
No, that don't help, especially when you got some fat fuckers in it.
Yeah.
My language is terrible. I apologise. I'm really sorry. Ladies, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's all good.
It's my whiskey.
That's a drink talking.
Nothing to do with the whiskey.
Need the top up.
He's blaming it on the drink, so what does he do? Takes another one. I mean, I think he's on the wrong side of the board. I think he should be up here, actually. I know. But I'm podgy. I'm cuddly. That's what I keep saying. I'm cuddly. You know what I mean?
More of you to love, mate. That's all.
Exactly. It's not my fault you can't fit in the bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding. But as Chelsea says, Pendle Hill is always a big draw for me as well. I don't know why. I mean, there's been many witch trials down through the centuries. Essex, Edinburgh, Paisley, everywhere. But Pendle Hill seems to be the one that sticks out in everybody's mind. It's the one that everybody wants to go to and just wander about the place. And
it's like a brand name to paranormal investigators, though, isn't it? It's like the most well-known one.
Yeah, it's one of the bucket list places to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just in the UK. I mean, there's investigators from all over the world came.
Yeah.
And the people that live there must get fed up. Ghost hunters in the town all the time, but we don't care because we're going down we're coming to pay.
Go on.
Yeah, we're going anyway.
Aye, we're off. We're going to
Wait
get a
a
big,
minute.
going to stick a big flag to the back of the car and we're off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then
As soon as
obviously,
lockdown's over, bud, we'll get it arranged ASAP. Honestly, as soon as we're all out, we'll meet up.
That'd be fantastic.
I forgot the guy's name. It's in the chat. Andy, sorry, Andy, I forgot your name. I'm on fire tonight, so
You can see the smoke.
I don't know what it is. Andy and his wife, they're coming over to meet us as well.
Sound?
So I say they're totally welcome to come over.
Charlotte's meeting us.
Charlotte's coming up to meet us, and Danny Moss is coming. Simon as well.
Mm-hmm.
You calm down. She's got a thing for Danny Moss.
I don't.
I mean, talk about a swoon. You know, as soon as you mention the word Danny, oh my God. And Sarah's worse.
Hey, there'll be nothing wrong with your colour now, missus. Sarah, you're going to be on fire soon.
Oh, I'll be matching my hair.
So they're coming to me because they want to do a bit of filming. I think it's quite good as well, you know, for both teams and for it, obviously, Andy and Kirsty, but no. And then we're talking Nottingham as well. The Forest in Nottingham.
Oh, dude, there's about 15 places in Nottingham. You're going to need a whole weekend, if not more than that, to come down and go around Nottingham. But I think it was Ploughman's Wood you're referring to, the ancient woodland.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you're referring to. Yeah, was that Mansfield, Ralph? Ancient woodland?
Yeah, it's out that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nottinghamshire, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cracking place, that is. We was planning on doing something really bad for the group for 1,000 subscribers, weren't we, there? We was really going to push the group to the limits, but lockdown caused that to fall through, unfortunately.
Revamping the idea. I've got it going in my cogs already, John. You're all right.
That's what I like to hear, that. 1,500 people. I'm sure we'll be out of lockdown by then.
How close are you to Chepstow?
Where's Chepstow?
Chepstow is just to the west of Bristol. It's just as you cross over.
Bristol. Bristol's probably about
Bristol, about 150 mile away.
3 hours south. 3
Yeah,
hours
probably just
south.
Yeah.
3.5 hours then, I'd probably say.
About 3 hours. Bristol would be 2.5 to 3 hours.
Because we're quite friendly with a group down there, and there's a location. I'll tell you after the live location. I'm not going to put it up in the live because I know people like to sort of write down locations and try and run away and do them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about you guys. You know, you're all right. I don't mind sharing stuff. You know, I'm not picky. You know, kids on. There's a location in Chepstow that I think would be a brilliant investigation. So that's how I was wondering if it was within kind of travel distance. Because
3 hours, 3.5 hours is fine for us, but yeah, it's not a problem.
That's fine. That's fine. So what's the kind of furthest you'll drive?
The Isle of Skye and the tip of Penzance. So anywhere in the UK, to be honest.
I don't go to the Isle of Skye. There's nothing there. See, the first time I went to Skye, I was so disappointed. You know,
So was Ascot, actually.
it's crap. Five sheep in a post office, and that's it. We'd always heard about the Skye Bridge, you know, and they were putting a toll for this bridge and what have you. And I'd never been. And one day I had to go to, hey, Natalie, there's Natalie. That's the person I'm talking about. She just popped in. What are you doing, well, doll? Natalie for Ghost Ramblers. She's coming on at the end of which week. Natalie's brand new. She's absolutely fantastic. And a fantastic photographer as well. Check out her group, folks. That she really is the biz. But I had to go to Skye, and as I was, you know, getting near the bridge, I was looking at it and I was kind of wondering, is that the bridge? you imagine this big, massive bridge? There was nothing to it.
No.
You know, I know it's a totally meaningless comment, but, you know, I'm totally disappointed with the Sky Bridge.
I've never been.
Oh, don't go. It's a waste of time.
It's not exciting.
You're well going up to the shops. You're very fun there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there'd be no distance for us, but if it's of interest and it's got activity, yeah, we'll go. So at some point, we'll be coming up to visit you guys.
Brilliant.
There's a chain on that door, isn't there?
Yes.
We're from Nottingham, dude. The chain won't stop us.
Wind up.
Well, these guys, when they come on, you know, we respect everybody that comes on, but you know, you get certain. I don't mean that that's to disrespect anybody else, but you come on and you can sit back and you can have a laugh. You can still have a chat, you know, about paranormal, whatever, but you can still.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you can, if you want to slag each other off for a wee bit, then fine. I think. Plus, with everything that's going on now, I think we need to try and, you know.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
You know, break it up a wee bit and see. I mean, I've watched a few channels, and to be honest, you just want to go to your own funeral watching them. Do you know what I mean? You do.
Well,
Scott, you sure you're not drinking the night?
I'm not trying to give you a big head here, or anything, but myself and Ralph were talking. Oh, I think it was after the last podcast we done. I'm not sure if it was the Halloween one or before that. And we were saying that how good yourself and Sarah are at doing your podcasts and the channel that you've got. It's like you say, it's professional but relaxed, and you can have a giggle. But you've not just got good connections there for what you do, but I think there'd be a good friendship there as well between all of us. You know what I mean? And if you can just get that by being over the internet with each other, then that's quite cool, I think.
Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Ryan Brew probably worse than alcohol. He's slagging our national drink. Andy and I are going to
That's because it tastes like donkey piss.
We're both like,
It looks like donkey piss as well.
What's a damn thing? What's a damn sight better than you were drinking? That looked like...
Scott, that is disgusting. Iron Brew is horrible.
no. Iron Brew's the best.
When
There's
we meet
definitely several types of urine in that.
when we meet you in Pendle, we're going to have an Iron Brew truck following us.
We will.
No thanks.
I won't
Can
complain.
I drink out of a puddle instead?
You always stick your face in a puddle, as you know, usual Friday night.
We'll need an Iron Brew cup to amount of Iron Brew we drink.
Well, that's true. But as I say, I've watched some channels, and you want to go to your own funeral just watching them because they're so boring, and but you need that wee bit of life in it. You need to. Hi, Andrea, my fellow Simpson. Good to see you all. I want to get that name right. So yeah, you do. You need to be serious at the same time, but have a laugh. And if you can sit and slag each other off a wee bit, fair dues.
I think if we can slag your
That's what friends do, isn't it?
Poor Scott gets it all the time.
Yeah.
every shame, not.
I'm in the group chat, and it's all women. 1, 3, 4 women.
I think when myself and Vicky was on that other guy, that was it Pulse Plus or whatever his name was. It was going because we put a couple of outtake videos up on our channel, and they were saying, why can't you keep that footage into your investigation? And I was trying to explain to him that when you're doing paranormal investigating, yes, you've got to try and add a little bit of humour to it to a degree, but it's a serious thing that you've got to do. And what you don't need is Ralph farting all the way through your paranormal investigations or stuff like that. So that's why you chop that out and you put it on outtakes, because that would take a lot of footage. Yeah, that's one of our most popular videos, is him farting for 4 minutes.
All right, so you've got a farter in the family then, have you?
I'm afraid we do, yeah. There's an outtakes video on our channel all about him. Go and check it out.
No, I'd rather not go and check out your channel to listen to Ralph farting. It's 10
Yeah, thanks for that, John.
We have to put up with it. I know you're not squeamish about it.
Not at all. I'm not going to, just like I say, I'm not going to leap on the PC straight after this. And what Ralph farting.
Andrew, what do you mean poor Ralph? It's poor us. We usually stab downwind from him. Chemical warfare some days.
I was going to say, Ralph normally leads the charge, doesn't he? He's first in line to walk everywhere. We just kind of walk into it like, oh, God.
That's it, yeah. You're chewing it for 5 minutes.
I know, you know, you get a mouthful. It's disgusting.
Yeah, he push on your arse.
It's a
It's terrible.
breadcrumb trail.
I've
You
had,
know it's bad when you see squirrels dropping out of the tree.
I've had a few instances of fart mouth, as we call it, you know.
Don't blame me.
You walk behind and it's worse when it's an old woman in front of you in the supermarket.
Oh dear.
What about 24 hours. You got a week. But no, that's a true story. I was in Tesco one day and it was, you know, you've got the queue kind of thing with a 2 metre distance, you know, and I must have been about 3 or 4 up. There's this wee woman in front of me. And so it takes longer now to get through the checkout, you know, to reach the checkout. And this wee woman kept blowing off at regular intervals. And I was trapped, basically. I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't want to leave the queue and go and stand in another one, so I just went on it. You know, that's just about it. That's like John telling us about that. Information. You know what I mean?
On that note, are we going to wrap the line up?
Yes, okay. So on that note, folk, we'll wrap it up on that party talk. You know, I don't think it can get much worse. You know what I mean?
Well,
So I'll hold on to you guys just for a wee second or two after we come off, if that's all right.
Of course it is.
Yep.
Excellent.
Steve comes in just as we're leaving.
It's not personal, Steve, but we're off.
Oh.
Can't believe we're talking
Hi,
about
Steve.
5 metres. Sorry, now we're Scottish now. Listen, you know, we do not have any manners whatsoever. They all went south, I'm afraid, as did Ralph farts. But we won't get into that. Sorry, Ralph. That one.
Oh, dear.
Andy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So thanks very much, everybody, for coming in. Thanks very much, GSI, yet again. An absolute pleasure to have you in, guys.
As always.
Great to be here.
We're on tomorrow night with Wayne Mills. I'll get your name right yet, Wayne. See, with Wayne's in tomorrow night was at 9 o'clock. So hopefully we'll see you then. So take care, everybody, and stay safe around. Thanks for coming in.
Bye.
Bye.
It is.